Today on SPG1 Tactical, we turn our Sig P365 15-round magazines into macro-compatible magazines. So you went out and bought a Sig P365 Macro, or you're interested in purchasing the Icarus Precision Macro grip module coming out in the near future, but there's one problem. You can't get any of the 17-round magazines right now.
Oh no!
I know!
This leaves you with 2 if you bought the Macro, and none if you buy the Icarus module or find a Macro module. And based on current rumors, these aren't going to be available for a while, some saying even up to 6 months to a year. Speculation is both that Sig is having supply issues of magazines in general, and also from a business perspective, if the grip module or 17-round magazines were released independently, less people would want to buy the complete Macro to begin with. So for those that need more magazines that are compatible with the Macro module, is there a short-term solution? And the answer to that question is yes. There are basically 2 methods to make this happen. The first is more cost-effective and doesn't require any additional parts, but requires more in-depth modification. This is simply trimming down the 15-round base plate to a much shorter length. The second option is to slightly modify a 12-round flush base plate to be able to fit onto a 15-round magazine. This will of course require 12-round base plates, so if you don't already have some of the 12-rounders, you can simply purchase the base plates online. 12-round base plates online are currently retailing for about $650. Now this is a good time to bring up that SPG1 Tactical is not responsible or liable for any modifications that you make to your magazines. And is standard, we recommend any modifications to be completed by a professional gunsmith. Basically, if you screw this up, it's on you. This is also not anything illegal, as we are not modifying the magazine's function nor capacity. This is simply a cosmetic change that allows for an existing magazine to fit into a new version of a grip module. So I don't want the ATF or YouTube coming after me saying that I'm showing you how to do anything subversive or nefarious. That being said, this is quite a simple fix. So let's break out our redneck gunsmith tool, the trusty Dremel.
Everybody say, "Oh toodles!"
Be sure before performing any modifications using tools that you're wearing appropriate safety gear such as eye protection and gloves. To modify your existing 15-round base plate, you need to cut it down far enough that the retaining grooves still allow the magazine to slide into the plate. It's up to you how you want to cut this. I used a hacksaw because that's what I had. With safety, I'm sure a bandsaw or maybe even a sawzall could work. The important aspect is to not cut down to those grooves. My final modified base plate sits right around 1/4 of an inch tall, although you might be able to go a little shorter. The 12-round base plates are 0.184 inches tall as a comparison. So as you can see, modifying the existing 15-round plate isn't crazy difficult, but compared to the next option, requires more destructive modification with a higher risk of error and has a less clean look. The second option is to use a 12-round base plate. If you were to take a 12-round base plate and try to set it onto a 15-round magazine, what you'll notice is that the metal on the 15-round magazine overlaps and conflicts with the back of the base plate. Comparing the 2 base plates together, you can see that for some reason the 15-round plate has the rearmost portion removed, whereas the 12-round base plate has the rear edge filled in. That difference in spacing is only approximately 0.1 inches left to slide it into place, and the material that needs to be removed from the top is around 0.06 inches off the back of the base plate. I suppose you could also do this by hand with a file or knife, as this is just a plastic piece, but the Dremel just makes quick work of it. It is important to note that while you can swap base plates, the 12-rounder will not fit in an XL grip module with a 15-round base plate. So if you're pillaging existing 12-round magazines, you will effectively be making it into spare parts. So it may be prudent to purchase the base plate separately if you want to go that route, but if you're trying to find magazines for a macro, you may no longer need your 12-round magazines. Kind of like when Sig went to the X grip modules and the old mags no longer fit. Or if you bought Icarus or other manufacturers' base pads and had the stock ones left over. This material removal doesn't have to be exact, as the plunger from the insert, which is the little tab that sits between the spring and the base plate, is what locks the base plate in place. It's really that simple. Just like carpentry, I recommend starting conservative and continuing to try the fit until the base plate slides on and the plunger tab seats. As this portion doesn't lock anything in, you could just cut more off, but that would leave a gap where debris could enter the bottom of the magazine, so better to try to get it to fit snugly. When you're done with your modifications, make sure to function test your magazine by making sure that it seats and that it correctly locks the slide to the rear while empty. Also make sure that your ammo or snap caps successfully enter the magazine and fill to the correct capacity. If your magazine base plate is securely seated and the function test passes correctly, you can now go out and test your new 15-round Macro compatible magazines. And the good news is that not only will this still work with your existing grip modules, but even when the new 17 rounders come out or companies start making base plate conversion kits for the 15 rounders, you'll already have some magazines that work with your module at only 2 rounds less for either free or an extra $7 a piece. I hope you enjoyed this quick tip video, and if so, please go ahead and use those trigger fingers to tap or click on those like and subscribe buttons. As we keep growing, we'll be able to continue to put out higher quality videos and more product reviews. For outstanding training, check out Intuitive Self-Protection at intuitivesp.com or hit up the ISP Facebook page where you can find course schedules, videos, and testimonials. Head over to SPG1Tactical.com where you can find S2S 5-in-1 Gun Lube, a copy of the book that I helped to co-author, The 6 Bullets You Can't Leave Home Without, a book club with recommended books and forums for discussion, endorsed gear, and more. And of course, be sure to stay safe, stay smart, and stay tactical, my friends.